Well, good morning to you, Wichita West High School uh, graduates of the 1972 class. We're Charles and Carol Emmons, and we both taught at West High School. Carol taught from 65 to 78, and I was there from 67 to 78, excuse me. And so we had a wonderful time at West High School and wonderful memories. We certainly want to center on the fact that the people that we worked with and the students that and parents that we engaged with were very important. A number of you we have had the opportunity to see at various times. I know that Luann Harvey Doubtser now, of which we also were able to participate in her wedding after she graduated. But we saw her and her husband for dinner when they were here on a business trip. And then we were connected with Jeff Hammond a few years back. And so the people, the parents, the students, and the faculty with whom we associated over the years, a number of students we do have very fond memories of, but the whole ensembles, the band, stage band, orchestra, marching band, all of those were very much a part of certainly my daily routine. And I remember a number of the fine students, the Brenda Alms, Don Stegan, Jan Statz, of course Carla Burns, who was in musicals, Ron Barnhart, who played trumpet in the stage band, and then of course the families, like the Nicholson family, were Gary and Don Nicholson, Don in your class, and then later their brother Kent. I never had a chance to work with Jay. And then Paul and Gail Malcolm, who played violin and viola in the orchestra. But good grief, many students over the years, and it's hard to enumerate all of them now. Wish we had a chance to see some of you, and so we certainly invite you to come to Chicago and see us where we are now. We moved in 78, and we had many fond memories of all of those times that we were in Wichita. So would like to let Carol talk, because she was a business ed teacher there and probably had many of you students in her classes.
I probably did, but because I didn't have my students for a 4-year period like Charles did, and some of it was only for a semester, I am going to talk more about the teachers that I worked with. I worked with Marge Patrick and Neil Warren in the business department, and since I had some dance experience, I had a chance to work with Jean Berrig, who was a gym teacher, and we choreographed musicals together in the spring. Some of my most memorable experiences was working with Marge Patrick. If any of you had her, you know she had quite a sense of humor. She was older than I was and had more teaching experience, and both teaching in the business place. And I learned a lot from her. She shared a lot of things with me. She also had a great ability to laugh about things. Since we had no children at that time, we, as Charles has said, we went to Interlochen and had a chance to know many of the students because we would be with them during the summer. Excuse me. I went to many of the high school games, and when the band played, I went to all of the band, orchestra, and stage band concerts. Go ahead.
So, as Carol mentioned, we certainly Interlochen was a part of our life because we did that for 30 summers, and from '62 to '91, and that was a great part. We should mention, not to make this too long, certainly Nancy Lackey and Sue Hebert, and also our administrators, Ed Friesen and Bob Anderson, were great supporters in our involvement. Hopefully you'll get a chance to see Sue because she is still living in Wichita. We hear from her at Christmas every year. And I would be amiss if I didn't mention my mentor, Kenneth Thompson, who was the instrumental coordinator for the Wichita Public Schools, and he was very much a part of our lives. We adopted 2 Korean boys in the 1980s, both of whom were wonderful additions to our family, and we've been so happy with them. The older boy is living in Chicago area and has 2 children, of which are grandchildren, and he's a restaurant manager in Schaumburg, Illinois, and our younger boy is living in Atlanta area with his wife, and so they, of course, their families and their lives and stuff are very much a part of our lives now. After I retired from teaching in 2001, I started working at a college here in Chicago and started a string program, and that blossomed very well. And then after I retired from that, I did have done student teaching for Northwestern, Illinois State, Vandercook, of course, where I started the program there. And that's being involved with student teachers has kept me certainly involved in the public schools in the area. And another thing, when I retired in '01, was to get back to playing my instrument, which is oboe. And so I'm playing in a community orchestra up in Lake Forest, Illinois. So we moved to downtown Chicago after I retired, and we live in a condo, which we love. We look out over Lake Michigan, so we see beautiful scenes from the lake, and we enjoy the Chicago Symphony, the Lyric Opera, and the Goodman Theater. And if you ever have a chance to come to Chicago, please look us up. We would love to see you. And again, we wish we could, as I said, one of our fondest memories certainly of our work at West High School was the faculty, the parents, and the students especially, of whom we've been able to keep in touch with some of you over the years, and wish we could keep in touch with more of you. So we wish all of you well. Have a wonderful reunion. Celebrate and enjoy your lives. And some of you are probably getting ready to retire pretty soon too. So retirement is great. So we wish you well from Charles and Carol Emmons in Chicago. You take care. Bye-bye.
Will always be. true.